All right, good evening, everyone. I am back, healthier than ever. Excuse me for a minute. I'm back. I'm healthy. Sorry I haven't been here for a while. I've been dealing with sinus pressure, flu, and of course the holiday season there at the post office, being a letter carrier and whatnot. So I got some new lighting here. I'm trying to do a different setup here with my office. To get away from the other area that I was in beforehand. Lots been going on lately, and good to be back here as the fighting carrier as I continue to fight behind the scenes, working hard, trying to contact many different people in Congress, the media, things of that nature. And what I'm actually working on right now, I'm working on an op-ed that I'm planning to send out tonight or tomorrow. And hopefully it gets published in the papers, New York Times, the Washington Post, the AP, or wherever. See if we can try to get this published for people there. And it's basically an op-ed designed to discuss things that, if I was Postmaster General, things that I would change at the post office from a letter carrier's perspective. I understand that behind the scenes there are many different things that I don't know about, that I'm not privy to, that those guys are at headquarters. But some of the things we can talk about from a letter carrier's perspective on just improvements that we can make to the post office with everything that's taking place right now. As you see, the title of this discussion this week is privatization of the post office. Should we be worried about it? Should we be concerned about that? We know President Trump, or President-elect Trump, is talking about privatization. The funny thing about the privatization talk is that for all the years I've been at the post office, it's like every other election cycle, we hear the same thing. We're going to privatize the post office. We're going to privatize the post office. If you ask people that's been at the post office, 20, 30 years already, they too will tell you the same thing, that they've heard stories of privatization. Privatization, should we worry about it? Should we worry about it? What I'm going to say may surprise you as I get further into this discussion. But in the short-term answer, to answer that question, the privatization part, I don't think we have anything to worry about at this point in time. We all saw what happened with Josh Hawley speaking to DeJoy there down there in Congress. And he has a lot of rules to statutes there in order to, and they care about the post office. They want their mail, they want their medicines, VA medicines, things of that nature. So they want the post office, and people like Josh Hawley, and other people. I don't foresee any real push to privatize the post office at this point in time. We got to think President Trump is in there. He does have a slight majority in both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate. But in actuality, you think about it, President Trump, he only has 2 years to get things going. During these first 2 years, I don't foresee President Trump rocking the boat too much. I don't think there's a stomach for it. He's not going to get the votes from the people there. Especially to have a lot of rural constituents, the Nebraska representatives, the Ohio representatives, the Iowa representatives, the Idaho. I don't foresee us going on privatization because of that. People of Congress, they're not going to let that happen at this point in time. Like I said, they got 2 years. President Trump has 2 years to try to get his agenda done, and 2 years. There's the midterms. And if he rocks the boat too much, I can really see both House and the Senate swing back to the other side. So that's one reason why I don't think we have to worry too much about privatization right now. Another thing too, when you think about the U.S. Postal Service, you think about that. Just our title, United States Postal Service. When I talk to people all the time, I remind people that that's our name. We are a service. It's not USPB. It's USPS. USPB would be United States Postal Business. And we're not a business. We are a service. And because we are a service, And we are in the Constitution, even though it talks about postal rolls, and we're under Article 1, and Congress has the authority to regulate us and things of that nature. We are still a service, which means that we are obligated to deliver to every address, every house, every business, as long as it has a stamp on it, regardless of whether we make money or not. So this is what I try to tell people when I have discussions with people, to remind them that we're not a business. If you want the post office to be privatized, well, be prepared to spend about $8-9 just to mail a letter out. Those certified letters that you want to send to people that's normally $5, $6, $7. Be prepared to spend $15-20 to send a certified letter out, and then you try to do an express piece. Oh, imagine how much more that's going to cost, or your packages. Imagine how much more that's going to cost in the long run. And some people, they fail to recognize that we are a service. We're not designed to be run like a business, because we provide the service to everyone. So that's what I try to tell people here. We're United States Postal Service, not a business. So that's reason number 2. I don't foresee us becoming privatized in the near future. Number 3, as I mentioned earlier, the United States Postal Service is under Article 1 title, which is Article 1 is the Congress, the Senate, the House and the Senate. Those are Article 1 powers. Has nothing to do with the executive. The president, he's Article 2 of the Constitution. So Article 1 actually supersedes Article 2. When you think about it, being Article 1 powers, the Congress has a lot more sway than the president does, because they are the lawmakers here. They pass the laws, and they regulate the post office and whatnot. So because of that, being under Article 1 powers, again, I don't foresee a Democrat House, Democrat Senate. I can see them pushing back significantly against the post office there, against the privatization thinking from President Trump there in the future. So in the short term, I personally don't see any reason why we should worry at this point in time about privatization. However, I will say this: perhaps 10, 15, 20 years from now, maybe you may want to think about that in the future. And the reason why I say this, privatization and stuff, is because we see this massive push for AI technology, automation. We see a number of young people out there now who don't see a need for the post office. They don't see a need of letters. Ask yourself this: how many times do you deliver mail on your route, and it takes a person a week or so just to clear their box out? People aren't checking the boxes like they used to. To them, it's not that critical. To many people, what they see in their mailboxes are nothing but ads anyway. My route every week, it's the same type of mail I deliver every week. Either Spectrum, Windstream, or some kind of insurance company, Progressive. That's the majority of my mail, and I get different mail pieces throughout the entire week. One week I get a little small, little plastic letter to mail, to put in a person's box from Spectrum. And then, of course, it's first class, so it says the name of current resident is first class, and I gotta put it in the box at the House of Vacant. I gotta send it back. Or if it's not the first class, or the person's name or current residence, that person's name, they don't live there anymore, so I gotta send it back first class. Same way with the Progressives. You wonder why your bills are so high, because they're wasting money sending this stuff out week to week, and it's first class as well. Appreciate the business. We do need it, and they pay us to deliver it. But a lot of people see that there's just really no need for the post office, even though we see the need, because we still deliver utility bills. We still deliver tax documents in the mail so that it certifies, whether it's a car title, second notice, third notice, things of that nature. We deliver all those important pieces, even though many people in the community, they don't see that. They say, "Oh, I pay my bills online." Well, we still deliver different things like that. So I'm saying that in the future, 10, 15 years from now, the post office may have a very different look. Now, we're still going to need carriers for the rural routes and whatnot, but we might have a whole different look at the post office due to automation and things of that nature. And what we really should be worried about, instead of focusing on the potential privatization, hearing what the politicians are saying, because they're saying things just to build their base up. They're saying things just to make everyone happy, according to their base and whatnot. What we should be worrying about is this article that I saw here. It's from Rochester in New York, local newspaper. In the title of it, it says here that USPS is slowing delivery to save on costs nationwide. This is what we got to worry about. We don't have to worry about the president, his administration, or anyone privatizing the post office, because our own Postmaster General right now is doing his utmost to slow down service, to make us look bad. And it's terrible because I hear people all the time. I didn't get my package. I didn't get this. I sent this out on Monday. It's been a week or two. They still haven't gotten it. Well, this is all due to the Postmaster General. And see, this is what we have to worry about, because what he's doing, I think, as I talk about this privatization in the future, what he's doing is putting into people's heads that the post office is a terrible service because it's already slow. He's putting a negative view in people's heads, so that way then when we do talk about privatization, or they talk about privatization, more people will be readily receptive to that thought. Where they say, well, my mail's already slow anyway, so we might as well just privatize it. They can do it better than the government can do it anyway. But I want to read some of this from this article. It says, while the U.S. Postal Service has moved forward with plans to slow delivery for some mail to save on costs nationwide, local union reps are addressing the service speeds we're seeing here at home. Of course, this is in New York. It says here, so if you wonder why it might be taking longer for your holiday cards to get delivered this season, officials say it is not a staffing issue. Instead, a change in standards from the U.S. Postmaster General. The proposals are part of a 10-year plan, but the Postal Service has stressed all first class will still be delivered in 1 to 5 days should these changes take effect. We've seen the effects here locally, the slowdown of mail. There is no 1 to 5 days at all. It's more like 5 to 7 days now, 5 to 10 days before a person gets their piece, and it's sad. It's always these geniuses who've never done a job, who want to come in and try to reinvent the wheel. We used to have very good standards, high standards. You remember with the express mail, we used to have a 10 o'clock express, 12 o'clock express, and 3 o'clock. Now what is it? It's all universal 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. That's not express anymore. 6 o'clock. That's just a normal day at the post office. That's a normal 10, 11 hour day at the post office now, just to get those express mails out. We sat here and allowed that to happen. Mr. Renfro sat there and allowed these changes to occur, and without any pushback. But notice here, the president of a local chapter here, and again, this is New York, says this: they have relaxed the standard of percentage that they feel should be on a regular basis. For 2024, their goal was 90 to 93%, depending on what was sent first class. President of Letter Carriers Local, Monique Mate, said, this year, the Postmaster General actually sent a letter to the Postal Regulatory Commission that they are relaxing the standards for fiscal year 2025 in the 80% range. So you go from 90 to 93 down to 80%, purposely slowing the mail down. So this is what we should be concerned about: the willful destruction of the post office within the U.S. Postal Service itself, the management class, the Postmaster General, all these people. They're slowing the mail down. They slow the mail down, but then on the other hand, they rush us on the street, or try to rush us on the street. So, how does that work? These people are insane, pretty much. So, going back again, the privatization deal. In the short term, right now, these next 5-10 years, I don't think we should worry too much about privatization. However, we do need to be aware of the potential in the future that may occur, especially with AI. If the government locks it in, gets this AI, the automation, they might try to figure out a way to implement that within the post office. So there will be further changes with that. If it were me personally, if I was union president, I would put in the contract that for the next 15 years, no letter carrier job can be outsourced to an AI. if I was APW, I would put that into a contract. I would say our jobs at the plant or whatever they do clerkside cannot be outsourced to automation for X amount of years. And if they were to do that, if they were going to automate and do all this stuff, then there should be a clause in there that they need to retrain those workers who'll be affected by it, send them back to school, or offer them full retirement at an early age. If they're close to retirement, or if they're not quite there, they should still be given privy to the full retirement. So, with that said, should we worry about the privatization of the post office? No. Again, because, one, we are under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, under the jurisdiction of under the purview of the Congress. And so, President Trump can talk privatization all he wants, but it's really going to be up to the Congress to do that. And again, we saw what Josh Hawley did to DeJoy. He has a lot of rural constituents there, and there's just no stomach for it at this point in time to do the privatization. And again, in 2 years, there's not the election. So, the Dems can very well retake the House, retake the Senate. So that's one reason we shouldn't worry too much about privatization right now. Another reason, too, is the simple fact that, again, we're the Postal Service. We're not a business. And once the community and people understand the difference between a service and the business aspect, I think people will understand that, hey, because they serve every address in the United States, whether it makes money or loses money, that, it's an essential service. And so we were the ones that were around during COVID. No, we really need to get that message out there to the people as well, to say, hey, during COVID, when the rest of the world shut down, we were still there every single day, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, up and down, walking, delivering packages, delivering mail, with in the sickness. During the whole COVID situation where people were locked down, we need to really emphasize that point when we discuss this privatization, when we're talking to people about it. We are truly an essential service. We're not a business. Again, just remind people, if we're going to be private, be prepared to pay $8 for a letter, $15 for a certified, just to get it signed. So, but again, right now, no need to worry about it. But in the future, something to think about, especially with people talking about automation and things of that nature. So, this is all I got this evening. Again, I'm going to drop this. And what I want to do too is, since I got back on track now, since the holidays are pretty much done and I can get back to this on a regular basis, I'm going to change the focus of my show a little bit. I'm going to have a regular schedule. I'm going to try to be here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thursday, I won't be here because I have other obligation on Thursday night. and then back on Friday at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to try to have a regular schedule here. And what I'm going to do, instead of roasting Renfro and NALC, which I'm going to continue to do, I'm going to also talk about other federal news that's related to the post office, things that affect us in other federal news, because these people, they do a lot of different things behind the scenes, and we hear about the big stories. They come on CNN and MSNBC and Fox, and those big headline news is on X and things of that nature. But there's a lot of other things that happen behind the scenes that affect us as postal employees. So I'm gonna focus on bringing you those stories that don't get the mainstream attention that they probably should, or at least help us to be aware of what's going on. I had someone mention to me about a week or so ago that all I do is complain and things of that nature, and that's fine. I'm going to continue to roast Renfro and them, but I'm going to change my focus, because that complaining, the constant roasting people, it does get old quick. But I'm not going to stop. It's gonna be a mixture, so it's gonna be more of a balanced show this time, and more awareness. And I'm going to get back to reading the NALC Constitution daily. I read Article 1 of our Constitution. I'm going to get back to reading Article 2, Article 3, so on and so forth. So at least people can hear the Constitution if they don't have time to read it, so they're aware of what the NALC Constitution says. So a lot of things going on with this show. Try to do some changes once again, but I'm glad to be back. And I'm going to drop this in a few minutes. So I got a phone call, so it's time for me to go pick up my wife real quick. But hey, thanks for tuning in to everyone. And again, keep delivering the mail. Be safe out there and doing what you can do. Y'all take care. This is Deshaun signing off. Take care.